Today, let's explore one of the most transformative aspects of U.S. immigration policy in the modern era, the H-1B visa program. Its story is not just about policy or numbers, it's about how we adapt to a changing world and build bridges between talent and opportunity. Let's start at the beginning. In 1990, the United States faced a crossroads. Rapid advancements in technology and a growing global economy demanded specialized skills that were increasingly in short supply domestically. It was clear that a new approach to immigration was needed, one that could attract talent and fill critical gaps in the labor market. The result? The Immigration Act of 1990, which included the creation of the H-1B visa. Signed into law by President George H.W. Bush, this program marked a pivotal shift in U.S. immigration policy. At its core, the H-1B visa was a response to two key forces: economic demand and labor gaps. As globalization accelerated, industries like information technology, engineering, and healthcare grew exponentially, requiring a level of expertise that far outpaced the supply of qualified workers within the U.S. The domestic workforce simply wasn't prepared to meet these challenges, a mismatch that risked slowing innovation and economic growth. The H-1B visa was designed as a solution to this problem. By allowing U.S. companies to hire highly skilled foreign workers, the program aimed to fill those gaps, especially in STEM fields where shortages were most acute. This wasn't just about plugging holes, it was about recognizing that talent knows no borders, and that welcoming expertise from around the world could elevate the U.S. economy to new heights. But this wasn't a static solution. The feedback loop between policy, demand, and workforce needs began immediately. As industries expanded and labor shortages persisted, the program adapted, shaping and being shaped by the very forces it sought to address. We'll see how this vision was tested and amplified by the rapid rise of the tech industry and the growing influence of corporate America. But for now, let's take a moment to appreciate the foundation. A bold idea born from necessity designed to turn challenges into opportunities. As the 1990s unfolded, the world witnessed a technological revolution unlike anything before. The rise of Silicon Valley transformed the U.S. economy, creating a hub of innovation that would define the digital age. This unprecedented growth, driven by the emergence of industries like software development, telecommunications, and e-commerce, underscored the pressing need for highly skilled workers. And here, the H-1B visa became not just a policy tool, but a lifeline. The tech boom demonstrated the power of foreign talent in fueling America's innovation engine. Companies like Microsoft, Oracle, and later Google relied heavily on H-1B visa holders to stay competitive in a rapidly changing global market. These workers brought the expertise needed to design software, build infrastructure, and scale operations. In many ways, the tech industry's meteoric rise became a validation of the H-1B program's purpose. However, this surge in demand for skilled labor also led to growing pains. By the late 1990s, the annual cap of 65,000 visas was no longer enough to meet the tech industry's needs. Policymakers responded with the American Competitiveness and Workforce Improvement Act of 1998, temporarily increasing the cap to 115,000 visas. This legislative amendment showcased how industries could directly shape policy through lobbying and advocacy. The influence of major corporations like Microsoft and Oracle during this time cannot be overstated. These companies didn't just adapt to the policy, they actively worked to shape it. Their advocacy highlighted the critical role of the private sector in addressing labor shortages, but it also raised questions about whose interests the program ultimately served. Was it a national strategy to attract the best and brightest? Or was it a tool to serve corporate growth above all else? This interplay between the tech boom, legislative amendments, and corporate influence created a powerful feedback loop. The tech industry's success bolstered the perceived necessity of the H-1B visa, while corporate lobbying ensured that the program remained flexible enough to meet their evolving demands. Together, these forces solidified the H-1B program as a cornerstone of U.S. immigration policy. Yet, as with any system, rapid growth brought challenges. The program faced criticisms, particularly concerns over wage suppression and the displacement of U.S. workers. As the H-1B visa became a lightning rod for debate, it underwent a series of reforms designed to address its most pressing flaws. As the H-1B visa program grew in scale and visibility, it became the subject of increasing scrutiny. While its contributions to innovation and economic growth were undeniable, critics began to question its broader impact, especially during periods of economic uncertainty. One of the most prominent criticisms was the claim that H-1B visas allowed companies to suppress wages and displace U.S. workers. Skeptics argued that some businesses exploited the program not to fill critical skill gaps, but to hire foreign workers at lower salaries than their domestic counterparts. This perception was particularly damaging during economic downturns when unemployment rose and the public demanded greater protection for U.S. jobs. In response to these concerns, policymakers introduced a series of reforms aimed at addressing potential abuses while preserving the program's economic utility. Wage thresholds were raised, ensuring that H-1B workers would earn salaries comparable to their U.S. peers. Additional criteria, such as labor condition applications, required employers to certify that hiring H-1B workers would not adversely affect domestic employees. These reforms sought to balance the competing priorities of protecting American workers and meeting the demands of a growing knowledge-based economy. Despite these efforts, wage concerns persisted. High-profile cases of alleged misuse, where companies reportedly replaced entire teams of U.S. workers with H-1B hires, fueled public skepticism. Stories like these, though not representative of the majority of cases, cast a long shadow over the program and intensified calls for tighter regulation. This tension between criticism and reform created what might be called a cycle of contention. Reforms were introduced to address immediate issues, but they often revealed deeper systemic challenges. For example, tying H-1B workers to their sponsoring employers limited job mobility, raising concerns about exploitation and vulnerability. Meanwhile, long green card wait times for workers from countries like India and China exacerbated uncertainty, making it harder for these highly skilled professionals to plan their futures. Ultimately, the H-1B visa program became a flashpoint in broader debates over immigration policy. At its heart, the controversy revolved around a fundamental question. How do we balance the interests of domestic workers with the undeniable contributions of skilled immigrants? From innovation to entrepreneurship, H-1B visa holders have left an indelible mark on the U.S. economy, proving that their presence isn't just a matter of filling gaps, it's a driver of growth and global leadership. While the H-1B visa program has faced its share of challenges, its contributions to the U.S. economy and global standing cannot be overstated. The story of this program is, at its heart, a story of innovation and opportunity. H-1B visa holders have been at the forefront of some of the most transformative advancements in modern history. They've played critical roles in the development of software systems, artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and much more. In fact, studies show that H-1B workers have been disproportionately represented among patent holders and contributors to cutting-edge research. These individuals are not just filling jobs, they're creating breakthroughs that drive entire industries forward. Beyond innovation, H-1B visa holders have also been catalysts for entrepreneurship. Many of these skilled workers have gone on to found startups that have reshaped the economic landscape. Companies like Zoom, founded by Eric Yuan, and Innovaxer, co-founded by Abhinav Shashank, are just two examples of how H-1B recipients have built businesses that create jobs, drive growth, and enhance the U.S.'s global competitiveness. The long-term contributions of these individuals extend beyond their direct work. They help sustain the U.S. as a hub of global talent, fostering an ecosystem where ideas flourish and industries thrive. Their impact is particularly evident in sectors like artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and advanced manufacturing, where the U.S. remains a world leader, thanks in no small part to the expertise and ingenuity of immigrants. These contributions form a reinforcement loop. Innovation paves the way for entrepreneurship, and entrepreneurship fuels sustained economic growth. Over time, these successes provide a powerful counterpoint to criticisms of the H-1B program, reminding us that skilled immigration isn't a zero-sum game. It's an investment in our shared future, a way to ensure that the U.S. remains at the forefront of global progress. But the benefits of this program don't exist in isolation. They unfold within a broader context of competition and reform, a delicate balance. As the world races to attract top talent, how can the U.S. maintain its edge while addressing domestic concerns? Let's take a closer look. As we consider the future of the H-1B visa program, it's important to recognize the growing global race for talent. Nations like Canada and Australia have taken bold steps to position themselves as havens for skilled immigrants. Through programs inspired by the H-1B model, but often more flexible and streamlined, they've sent a clear message: if the U.S. won't welcome you, we will. This global competition poses a significant challenge for the United States. For decades, the H-1B visa has been a key driver of U.S. innovation, economic growth, and global leadership. But as policy scrutiny has intensified, with tighter eligibility criteria and rising populist sentiments shaping the debate, the question arises, are we at risk of losing the very talent that has fueled our success? The stakes couldn't be higher. Skilled immigrants don't just fill roles, they create opportunities, drive technological advancements, and build businesses that employ thousands. If the U.S. closes its doors, those workers won't disappear. They'll simply go elsewhere. And when they do, they'll take their expertise and entrepreneurial energy with them, strengthening the economies of our competitors. Reforms to the H-1B program must strike a careful balance. Yes, it's vital to address legitimate concerns about wage fairness, job security, and potential abuses, but we cannot lose sight of the bigger picture. Skilled immigration is not a burden to bear, it's a strategic advantage to leverage. A program like the H-1B isn't just about today's labor market, it's about securing tomorrow's leadership in critical industries. As we bring together the threads of this discussion, let's remember the triads that define this story. From the policy origins of the 1990 Immigration Act to the economic demands and labor gaps that drove its creation, the H-1B visa was a bold response to a changing world. The tech boom, legislative amendments, and corporate influence of the 1990s amplified its role, ensuring that America could compete at the forefront of the digital age. Even amid criticism, reforms, and wage concerns, the program continued to evolve, reflecting a willingness to adapt to complex realities. And through innovation, entrepreneurship, and long-term contributions, H-1B holders have left an indelible mark on this nation, shaping its future in profound ways. Now, as we face the pressures of global competition, the lens through which we view immigration must expand. This is not just a debate about visas or quotas, it's a question of how we as a nation choose to engage with the world. Do we embrace the talent and ideas that drive progress, or do we risk ceding that ground to others? The answer lies not in fear or isolation, but in confidence and vision. The H-1B visa program is more than a policy. It's a bridge between potential and opportunity, between individuals and a nation's shared success. As we navigate its future, let us remember that the strength of the United States has always come from its ability to adapt, to innovate, and to welcome the world's best and brightest. Because in the race for talent, the only way to lead is to keep moving forward, together,